was considering a business endeavor with Peter Thomas.
With Wendy.
Remember?
I heard. Peter has what? Beef with her? Hold on, beef. Oh, did Peter tell you that? Yeah. Ready to go. Peter told me that she did research to find out something that they had in common so that she could ask him to go into business with her. Really?
So yes, so Peter said that Wendy Osefo, Miss Multi-Degree, the beauty queen, family woman, did research to find out something that they had in common to do business together. And as you can hear and probably saw on the show, they're like, oh, as if it was some type of shade factor going on. Okay? And hearing that, I was a little bit disappointed. I really was, because I thought, like, who doesn't? And some people felt a different kind of way, and that's fine, it's cool. But that's how the game is played, okay? You want to know as much as possible. So Wendy, as I said here, and I still stand by the statement, again, we can agree to disagree, she's making boss move. The chick is playing chess, not checkers, okay? That's what she's doing. So one more time, she did what?
Told me that she did research to find out something that they had in common so that she could ask him to go into business with her. Really? Quotes. These are quotes. Like.
Oh, that's what people do. So check this out. And I just want to show you how this works, okay? So here we have Josh Flagg, worth $35 million. And his grandmother passes, Edith Flagg. So she left what, $100 million? I guess we'll go to the parents, and eventually it will go to Josh. Yeah, it will go to him. Again, he's worth $35 million, does real estate. So he's trying to sell a house, okay? There's a thing called leverage, which could be very beneficial if we could learn to use that in our everyday lives. So listen to what he's doing. He's trying to sell a house. They want what, 4.3. The offer is 3.6. Okay? So to get information and to use leverage, this is how he's able to help seal the deal.
Fast closing. Oh, another.
And he's presenting this offer to the client, okay? I think initially they wanted 4.3. So he's presenting this offer to the client. Listen carefully, and I want you to listen to what he tells his assistant to do prior to negotiating when they get the written offer.
No contingencies.
Hey, great.
Thank you very much.
Salute.
Salute. Now, with all that said, the offer is 3.6 million.
3.6.
3.6.
I feel like that's a waste of time, Josh.
It's a waste of time if the offer stays at 3.6, but if it doesn't stay at 3.6, it's a starting point.
Right.
The interesting thing about the offer is that I did a little research. Do me a favor. She said that her parents live in the neighborhood. Can you Google where she lives or some information about the family?
It looks like they're neighbors to the property on Valley Vista.
Mm-hmm. No, she owns the house next door to us.
So I understand. When you find out that a potential buyer is actually living next door to the property, you know that you have the upper hand. They are always going to pay more because they can combine the properties and it's a lot more land. It's just worth more.
Boom. What did he say? When you find out. So Wendy simply did the same thing he did. That's what they have in common. When you find out that they own the property, you know they really want it. So he used that as a negotiating tactic, as leverage. Oh, so if he hadn't used Google to maybe find that out, they may have been stuck with a lower offer. So doing your research, especially in money-making deals, that's the same thing Wendy did. And some people feel a different kind of way about it because you know what? We don't operate in that world on a normal basis. We don't use leverage. Your vote is a leverage. We don't use leverage. A dusty one in common reside with you in your home. We don't use leverage. Just let them in, open the door. So he did the same thing Wendy did. He had his assistant.
The family?
He had his assistant to do what?
I feel like that's a waste of time, Josh.
It's a waste of time if the offer stays at 3.6, but if it doesn't stay at 3.6, it's a starting point.
Right.
The interesting thing about the offer is that I did a little research. Do me a favor. She said that her parents live in the neighborhood. Can you Google where she lives or some information about the family?
It looks like they're neighbors to the property on Valley Vista.
Mm-hmm.
No, she owns the house next door to us.
So I understand. When you find out that a potential buyer is actually living next door to the property, you know that you have the upper hand. They are...
You heard him. When you find out that the potential buyer owns the property next door, gee, how did he find that out? Not through gossip. He Googled it. You have the upper hand. And so now what is he doing? They're going to make a counteroffer. And the counteroffer worked. Yeah. So that's how business is done. That's how the game is played.
Go into business with her. Really? That they had in common, so that she could ask him.
And what did Wendy do?
Out something that they had in common. Told me that she did research to find out something that they had in common, so that she could ask him to go into business with her. Really? Well,
and so we acting like, oh no, she did that? Really? That's a surprise to you? That's a surprise to you? It shouldn't be. Really? Why are you surprised, little mama? Ashley, you're surprised? Now, I bet her husband, which I'm not a fan of, he wouldn't be surprised because guess what? He knows he's a businessman. He's wealthy. He knows how business is done. But it's things like that I wanted to bring out to let people know sometimes stuff that we don't understand is because we don't use that in our daily lives. But other people do. Other people do. They use those tactics in their daily lives. And again, go ahead and Google Josh Flagg and you will see he's worth $35 million. Okay. Does he come from money? Yes. His grandmother, Edith, she passed away. Again, $100 million that she left as an inheritance, which will pass down. So with stuff like that, not to say I'm a know-it-all because I am not, but I want to share with you. Wendy, as I said before, she's making boss moves. This is what people do in their everyday lives, especially in business. So if he hadn't done that, he wouldn't have realized that, oh my, they live next door or they really want this property. Guess what? We're going to go ahead and counter. They countered, and guess what? I believe they settled around 4. So that was a difference of $400,000. It's called life is business. It's called leverage. Okay, so something to think about. Go, Wendy, and I'm out.